Welcome to Actors Buzz, brand new podcast. We're very excited to be launching this with all of you. I am Misty, and this is my fantastic, stunning, amazing, hysterical, insightful, wise, grounded, I could probably keep going, co-host, Nisha, Simone, and friend. Nisha, I think we've known each other for what, like a year?
Just about.
Just about. That's crazy.
I know, time flies when you're having fun.
And we are, but that is crazy. Sometimes it feels like I've known you for 27 years, and sometimes it's like I just met you. Yes, it's been so fast. Gosh, I'll take it. So this is a podcast by actors, for actors. I think sometimes we get so caught up in finding resources, books, videos, whatever. We're Googling things and we're trying to learn, and we forget that one of our most valuable resources is other actors, is people who are on the same journey and in the trenches taking grenades. So that's the purpose of this podcast, is to bring together actors who are passionate, who love this art at all stages of the journey, not just, no shade, Anne Hathaway, I think you're amazing and you're gorgeous, but not just like taking a master class. And sometimes I think that feels so out of reach. It feels so, when will I ever get there? And man, that's too far in the future on my journey. And so I think it's important to hear from people who are in the trenches with you, going through what you're going through, so that we learn from each other. So that's our purpose. Hey, if you're tuning in, like, subscribe, hit all the bells, all the whistles, all the symbols, all the things, but most importantly, comment, because we want to hear from you. We want to grow the community, and we want to learn from each other. So if something pops into your brain, pop it in the comments and let's have a dialogue about it. So today we are going to talk about, how do you find balance in your life as an actor?
Ooh. That's a good one.
I hear it's a thing that can happen. I've heard rumors.
Yeah, well, I guess the rumors. I'd like to know who started the rumor.
People who are balanced, maybe? I don't know. You guys, Nisha is at that place in her career where things are popping off. And so there's offers coming in, and her inbox is full, and this is such a timely discussion, because when things pop off, I think it's the nature of every actor to just say yes to everything. We work so hard to get a door to open, that once the door opens, it opens floodgates, and all of a sudden there's a fear to say no to anything. We just say yes, say yes, say yes. So I guess my first question is for all of us: what does balance look like? What does that even mean? And how does that look in your life?
A good question. Balance. Let's see. Balance for me is getting things accomplished in the 24 hours that I'm given. Being able to navigate what is important and putting that on the top of the list, and trying to check everything off of the list for the day. So I prioritize, and then if I'm not able to get to something, at least I know that will be at the top of the morning for the next day. Balance is important, obviously, because you have to balance, well, for me specifically, I have to balance sleep. Not getting much of that these days, but
I'm so glad you told the truth about that. I'm so glad
um,
you didn't walk in and be like, I'm sleeping 8.5 hours every
yeah,
night.
right. 8.5 hours. I wish. I wish. There's not enough hours in the day. I mean, like, but I guess that's where you come from with the needing to find a good balance, you know. There is the cliche saying is there's not enough hours in a day, right? But technically, if we learn to balance, we do find enough time. We have enough time to get everything that we need to get done. So what I've started doing now is I take out a day specifically to prep. And when I tell you prep, I mean prep everything. It's kind of neurotic, but I get it done. So I'm meal prepping. I'm prepping my attire for the week. If I have auditions or if I have sides that I have to study for something, a project that I'm a part of, I'm making sure that I print those out. Dedicating what I'm dedicating Sunday to getting everything done. So Sunday is my absolute chaotic day. That's the day that I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm laundry, I'm making sure that my sides are done. I'm picking out my outfits. Something as simple as picking out your outfits for the week.
Oh,
Right. So I'll look at the weather, try not to watch the news. So I look at the weather. Once it's done, I go off of it. I usually pick 2 outfits per day just in case the weather. So I'll pick, if the weather hypothetically is supposed to be 75 degrees, I'll pick something that works for 75 degrees. And then I'll pick something that maybe will go for a little colder because, you know, New York is not always the best. It hasn't been treating us too good these days. We're hot one week and then the next week it's like jacket time. So that's how I've been finding balance. And then in between that, you know, I take naps here and there and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you find, so if you can prep on a Sunday and you can really do as much as possible to be ready for whatever comes, do you find that mentally then during the week you can roll with the punches a little better, or you are taking deeper breaths and you're not quite as I don't know, I always say you like white knuckle it through the week when you're gripping really tight, because if you drop one thing, everything crashes. Does it like, how do you notice the change mentally for you during a week if you've gotten a successful prep day done?
A successful Sunday
Mm-hmm.
makes for a stress-free week. A successful prep of Sunday will give me the leniency, I guess you could say,
Mm.
for those hiccups that happen throughout the week that we don't account for, you know, because life, we plan and life goes, nope, not today.
Life, other people in my life.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So I think with the planning, with everything being planned, what ends up happening is that because those are things that's checked off, like your everyday thing, it's checked off, it's giving you more time for you to figure things out. You know, if my meal is prepped, if I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner prepped for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, hypothetically speaking, and I have my outfits prepared and I know exactly what it is that I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, then from the moment that I wake up, my day is already smooth because I'm not thinking about those things. And a lot of time is spent, and we don't realize it. A lot of time is spent I like thinking about things that we really don't have to think about at the moment, but we start to obsess in it. And then we get into this obsessive loop of, well, what should I do? What I need to do? And, you know, so it takes about an hour and gives me that hour of freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, so, so Nisha's in New York and I'm in the Midwest. So when you say, I'm just going to reveal some Midwesternisms. When you talk about meal prep, my Midwest brain goes, yes, yes, putting something in the crock pot in the morning so that it's ready because maybe you guys, maybe that's not just a Midwest. It feels very Midwest to me, even to say the word crock pot sounds real dumb. But I did that this morning. I put not to get into the minutia, but the pork roast went in the crock pot this morning. And I have caught myself a couple times today going, oh God, what am I gonna do for dinner? Oh, it's done. It's already done. And it's funny because you mentioned I guess the amount of time we spend thinking about it, but I think it's also the stress, the subtle stressors of that. Oh crap, I still haven't done that yet, which takes me out of my best mental game. And It's not right. It's not a huge deal. It's not that big of a deal. If we have to order pizza, we order pizza. But anything we can do, I think, to lighten that stress load feels better, and it puts us in a better creative space. It puts me in a better space to do the writing that I need to do the script reading and all of that. So it totally makes sense. You also said something about leniency during the week, that you've got a little more leniency. Okay, so that brings up a question. Where do you compromise, and how much do you compromise?
Ooh.
I know. And I'm thinking specifically, right? Like you've scheduled something or someone said something, and then due to no fault of your own, their plans change, and maybe no fault of their own too. But how much leniency do you buy, and how much do you compromise then once the week starts?
So I am a person that likes to plan ahead. I don't like last minute things. Occasionally I do come across last minute things. And in those occasions, I'm usually somewhat prepared already because I'm not a last minute person. So the benefit to not being someone last minute is that I've already planned for, like, let's say I planned for something on Wednesday, and um it's supposed to carve out maybe 8 hours out of my day, and something happens where those plans are canceled. I already have backup plans. So my day doesn't go completely wasted. So I always make sure that I have something else lined up just in case, because life happens. And to no fault of your own, like you said, or somebody else's for that matter. In terms of whether or not it happens to be a reoccurring thing. Now, if I see a pattern that's established, then my boundaries are set. It's like, okay, you know what? I won't make plans with this person, or I won't make plans to do this specific thing, because I like to pay attention to the signs that the universe provides. And at that point, I'm figuring, like, the universe is telling me, it told me once already, no, don't go that way, Nisha, go the other way. And then here I am, little old me, doing the same thing again. And then it goes, I told you the first time, don't do it. So you know what? Okay, you don't have to tell me a third time.
I love that you said boundaries, because I've been working with artists, right, for damn near 30 years. And there is a reputation in the world that artists are flaky, or that if you're highly creative, you're also highly scattered, or that those things go hand in hand. And it's funny because what I find is, and again, no shade to the industry, but especially when you're building your career, right? It's the actors. I don't find it's the actors that are last minute. I find it's the agencies and the casting directors and the production crew and God, I love production crews. You guys, I'm so scared. Like, this is our first time doing this. So I'm waiting for these comments to light up with, I'm on the production crew and blah, blah, blah. Everybody's got stories about all of it. I understand that. But I feel like the reputation that actors get for being flaky isn't always their own fault.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you stay relevant, get the opportunities, say yes enough that you move up the ranks, and set boundaries for yourself, for your own freaking mental health? What do you decide to do for boundaries?
So we live in a world right now where they call it cancel culture.
Mm.
I'm still trying to get my feet on the ground. So I'm going to try my hardest to say this appropriately. All jokes aside, my boundaries are firm.
Mm.
I'm unwavering. I will not move from what I set. I set them because at the end of the day, I have to respect myself.
Mm-hmm.
I respect your time. I want you to respect mine in turn. And time is something, I was once asked a question, and the question that I was asked was, what do you think is the most important thing in life?
Mm.
And my response was time. And it was so weird to people when I said it. And you can never get time back, ever. If you can never get time back. We're speaking now, and I can't erase or take away anything that is said right now. Never. Even if we never air this, it's still time that I wasted, or it's still time that I used productively. So I can, that you're upset with somebody, you decide, oh, I'm not going to answer the phone right now. I'll talk to them tomorrow. Who said that they're going to be there tomorrow?
Mm.
So for me, time is big. And when I see that you're wasting my time, I don't care how big the production is. I feel like this is not a production that I want to be a part of, because my time can be better spent somewhere else. We're all on borrowed time. And being on borrowed time, we should all respect that. And sometimes people don't respect it. And I can't expect everyone to have the same standards, morals, principles, or boundaries as I do. But what I can do is enforce my boundaries, because there's certain things that the production companies will enforce.
Yeah.
And we have to abide by those things. So communication, let's communicate. If you say call time is 6:30 a.m., I'm going to be there at 6 o'clock. You may not let me in until 6:30. We don't start, but I will be there at least in half an hour early, because I want you to know that I respect your time.
Yeah.
And in return, I hope for reciprocity.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever, when you have to draw that line, right, and hold to the boundaries, have you ever looked back at a situation and regretted it and felt like, shoot, I should have let that one slide? Or have you found that plays out in your life? Like, I'm not setting you up. I swear I'm not. I just, I believe it feels like such a setup. I'm saying this because I'm just going to be transparent. I have found that when, God bless Maya Angelou for giving us this truth, but when people show you who they are, believe them.
Right.
And I feel like in my life as an educator, as a director, as a writer, as a mom, right? When people show me who they are and I believe them, I don't know that I've ever found that proven wrong. If I've, you know what I mean? If I've ever really looked back, maybe 10 minutes later I have, but 2 years later, it plays out exactly the way it felt like it was going to play out.
Right. No, I don't regret it. people have people are have strong opinions or feelings or set boundaries for a reason.
Mm,
And that reason is experience, right? Experience is the best teacher. Experience is what creates wisdom.
mm,
And in my experience, if I don't set these boundaries, I'm the one that gets the crappy end of the stick. So, with that being said, I don't regret it. I mean, there was an incident one time, and we spoke about it, and I was cast in something, and I was communicating with the casting director, and the casting director was not communicating with me, and they wanted me to be at a place for call time, and I'm trying to get all of the specifics, and they were just unresponsive.
mm.
And I was so turned off because what people fail to realize, like, to some people it's like, oh well, maybe they got busy. But if you're casting someone in something, then this is someone that you need to communicate with. You can be busy with a million other things, but how do you expect someone to be where they need to be if you're not giving them the information that they need
Yeah,
to be there, you know?
yeah.
So um initially I did speak with you about it.
Mm.
And we came to a happy medium, and I did a happy medium, hint hint.
Mhm, mhm.
And I did reach out to the casting director. This is a day after the shoot, and I still didn't hear anything. And I'm not upset about it, because things happen.
Right.
Sometimes you decide that you're going to go with someone else, or
Mhm.
sometimes emails get lost in translation, or whatever the case is. But when there was still no response, that is what let me know that this production company, if I ever got an offer from them again, is not someone that I would care to do business with. Because
Mhm.
if you cannot do something as simple as communicate with your cast, then what is your production really going to look like?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So regret? No, I don't.
I I love that you said we came to a happy compromise. So it's in my nature to Nisha and I both do this. We choose our words very carefully. And so we're both wired to, in the heat of the moment, to get quiet, because I know that when I'm in my feelings, it's when I'm most likely to say something, even if it's in truth. It's not going to be truth in love. It's just going to be truth, and I can't take that back. That sits out there. So I think that it's powerful advice and something to remember when things fall apart, and it will happen. You only have part of the story. You only really have your side of the experience. And so you have to draw your boundaries, but how you communicate is important, because this industry is a small town. And so leaving opportunities on the table with grace and professionalism doesn't shut a door. You are not actively creating your own roadblock. You can choose to never work with that company again, and just, because, not out of anger, but because how they operate does not fit how I operate, and that's okay. Everything's a relationship. But cocking off, and as I think some personalities do, where they feel self-righteous in that decision,
Mhm.
and you want to pack your bags and stomp out of the door and run away from home.
Right.
um it can burn a bridge outside of that company, because people talk, they know people, they, that editor is going to work on the next project and is going to say, oh, hold on a second. Before we hire that person, let me tell you a story. So just assume that every action you take in this industry is being broadcast at all times, because better safe than regretful. So the way that you handled it was so professional. And I think you have to, especially when you're making tough decisions, especially when you're saying no to opportunities, you have to take your emotion out of it. And you do a really good job of that, of not coming from a place of emotion and keeping whatever door is open in the future open. At least you're choosing to close a door and it's not getting slammed in your face, which is key. Which brings us to kind of the last point. How do you say, how often and when, and how do you handle saying no to a good thing? Because
did you hear that, Brett?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Whoever wants to say no to a good thing?
Right.
Whoever wants to say no to a good thing? I mean, how do you even begin to open your mouth and say no to a good thing? That's what we all wait for. We all strive for good things, right? That question feels like such a setup. Like such a setup. Like,
where it's not.
Who says that? Who asks that question? What are we talking about?
No, right? Because we're talking about balance. Well, if you say yes to every good thing,
you're burnt out.
Yep.
You're burnt out. So that's why it feels like a setup, but it's not. It really isn't. I think you have to decide for you what is best. You have to decide what it is that you really want. I'm auditioning for, I want to say 3 to 4 roles a day. And I'm getting callbacks for self-tape auditions and callbacks for Zoom auditions. I'm probably on average a week getting about 4 or 5 of them. So I'm very careful in the projects that I choose to audition for. I think that is key. Be very careful of what you audition for. So if I audition for, let's say I auditioned for 3 roles today. One of the roles I really, really want is at the top of the list. And then the other 2 roles I enjoy them, but I really want this one. So if all 3 of them call me and they happen to have the same shoot time, that poses a problem. But then again, it doesn't, because I got the callback for the one that I really, really want. So I think knowing to prioritize what it is that you want and actually setting it there, being able to figure out what role fits you best.
Yeah.
And what role is going to give me the best possible outcome, but is also not going to completely destroy me for another project. Because if I'm recording this weekend and then I have another recording the following week, with something else. I can't pick a role that is going to completely destroy me and is going to need a few days to recover from, because I have to get right back up and do it over, you know? So I think that's where the balance comes in, is knowing what you're auditioning for and knowing, setting your times so that you have that bounce back time, as I like to call it. It's bounce back, you know? If I played a role that required 100% emotions, then I'm going to need at a minimum of 3 days to decompress before I even start reading other slides. So with that, you know, that's the balance. The balance is knowing what you're auditioning for and being self-aware to know what your bounce back time is for you to jump back in it.
Yeah, you have to know yourself.
Right.
And I think it's huge that you don't compare yourself to somebody else's journey, because there are actors that need months in between really draining roles. There are actors that don't need any time. They can just flip a switch and go to the next one. And it's so individual, and you've got to figure that out for yourself, and then unapologetically set your career up around that and not worry about, you know, like, just not worry about it. Do what's right for you, because this is it, right? This is your instrument. This is everything. And if you run this down, that's it. So, yeah. Okay. So what does balance look like? How will you know for you when you are centered in that balance? What does that feel like when you lay your head down at night?
Balance for me looks like being able to lay my head down and fall asleep in an hour. That's balance. I am a thinker. I'm an overthinker. I evaluate everything, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. I'm evaluating, because I'm always striving to be better than I was yesterday. So if I can lay down and minimize the amount of thoughts that are going through my mind, which allows me the opportunity to fall asleep within the hour, I say that's a pretty good balanced day.
I think that's a great litmus test. I think that's great. Yeah.
If I'm up, if I'm laying in the bed, TV off, my phone goes on do not disturb, it's automatically set, and it's dark, and my thoughts are just playing a whole production for 2-3 hours, then I know that there's something that I'm figuring out how to balance, because I need it. I need my balance. And when I feel like there's no way for me to get my balance, I do my self-care routine, which is to travel, go somewhere and hit the beach. You know, we all have to have that self-care routine. It's mandatory self-care. Whatever it is that you do, some people go for a walk, some people spend a day of pampering, some people go shopping, or some people go partying, some people just completely decompress by self-isolating for the day just to recalibrate, you know. Mine is to hit the beach. So I'm booking a trip to go on a plane to go somewhere and just you know, let me sit there for a minute and find my balance. And you know, there's something about the waves, that hearing the waves crash. I feel like every time it crashes, on the shore and then it retracts, it's taking away all of that chaos.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Got to know yourself. You have to know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking adore you.
I adore you.
I do.
Oh my God, you're like the best. I tell people all the time. I think people are so damn tired of hearing your name. Trust me, they're tired of hearing your name. They're tired.
Around here, I would say the same thing. We get it. Do you though? Do you get it?
Please.
Okay. Just one more thing. All right. So this is it, y'all. This is Actors Buzz. We just want to hang out and have conversations. And if at the end you turn this off and you walk away knowing you're not alone, and that your struggles, your frustrations with either I feel like I don't know how to get out of an opportunity that I thought would be good and it's not anymore, or how am I, I'm working a job to support this passion and I don't have flexibility, then maybe what you take away is something Nisha said about prepping and taking one day a week to really do everything within your power to set yourself up to roll with the punches during the week. If it's getting to know yourself enough to know I'm maxed out, this is it, I've hit it, and I have to do the thing that I know refuels me unapologetically. If what you took out of it was how to say no to good opportunities, and that sometimes we have to do that, whatever that is, tell us about it. Put it in the comments. Or what works for you that we didn't even begin to cover. What does balance look like for you? And how do you know when you're out of balance? We want to talk with you. You guys matter. You're out there in the trenches, in the grind, because you're passionate about this art. You're our people.
Self-care, self-awareness.
Nisha's designing a t-shirt. All right, we're gonna let you all go. This is Actors Buzz, and we are gonna drop a new podcast every Monday. So Apple, Spotify, YouTube channel, find us wherever you can find us. We'll see you soon.
Bye.